What's good, y'all? It's your boy Havoc. Final round. We're gonna talk about Anthony Joshua's meltdown. It's tough, man, because I understand as a competitor, uh, you know, it's tough. It's tough taking L's, man. I'm as much of a sore loser as anybody else, if not worse. I do not like to lose, okay? But what was disappointing about the way AJ conducted himself, I get it. I empathize. And, it was actually kind of refreshing for once to see AJ show some humanity, to show that, he cares. I have no idea whether he did this to compensate in some sort of psychological manner, but I'm not going to get too, deep on this psychologically. But what was disappointing was who he did this to. Usyk is a respectable opponent. Usyk is a pound-for-pound great fighter, okay? And the magnitude of what was going on after the fight, when it was signed, sealed, delivered, the winner was pronounced, there was something bigger at play here that Joshua decided to disrupt, that Joshua decided to steal the spotlight from Usyk. But not only Usyk, the people of Ukraine, the country, and make himself bigger than something serious going on, the conflict in Ukraine and Russia invading. He decided to be a narcissist. It was like watching a child throw a temper tantrum. The man's dad had to come to him as he was walking outside of the ring and try to get control of him. And he's pulling away from his own dad. Acting a fool, man. Walking in and outside the ring. He's over there asking Usyk, how did you beat me? He's being aggressive with Usyk's team. They're all giving him praise, saying, hey, respect, great fight. You were a great former champ. Lomachenko doing the same thing, paying his respect to Anthony Joshua. And he's over there telling Lomachenko, you better respect me as a man, or something along the lines of that. Just tripping out, fist bumping people really hard, when everybody was trying to pay the man respect for a good fight. He was talking junk with the Ukrainian flag on his back. Usyk had to snatch it off him. This is how crazy the man went. It was a complete mental lapse and breakdown. He was tired. He was taking shots upside the head, and obviously the emotion kicking in as well. And that was just a bad cocktail for stupid decisions for Anthony Joshua. I don't mind so much what he did, is who he did it to. If this was like an Adrian Broner-like character, I would have totally understood, okay? Somebody who was disrespecting him, somebody who was continuing to talk. Maybe if it's Usyk's team was being aggressive or talking junk, I can understand where that outburst would come from. But you had a dude who just, look, I don't know whether Usyk's wielding a gun or not. I don't know whether Usyk is wielding a gun or not, okay, in war. But I know that he has been showing support for his country. Not everybody has to wield a gun to help their country in conflict. Not everybody in the military is a soldier. There's different jobs. There's different responsibilities. There's different ways to show support. Hell, they got pastors. You can enlist in the military and you can become a pastor. So look, maybe Usyk was strictly there to give moral support to the soldiers. May have not pulled the trigger once. I have no idea. Maybe he did. But nonetheless, he was coming out of conflict, disrupted his boxing career for a little bit, to go back and help his fellow countrymen. And God knows, he's probably got family there, relatives. God knows what they're going through. If they're experiencing death or dislocation. And this man came out of the war, okay, whatever that role he had, came out of the war to take on a big matchup, one of the biggest fights of his life, in order to get an undisputed matchup against Tyson Fury, hopefully. and he works his ass off, and he gets the decision again in a rematch, in a fight that we probably didn't even really need a rematch for. And here's his moment in the sun. But most importantly, I don't even think it was about Usyk. And I think even Usyk didn't even want it to be particularly about him. But I think it was about his country. And Anthony Joshua steps in, the narcissist that he is, and steals the spotlight and starts ranting, saying crazy stuff. Doesn't even make sense. You know. Like, that was a moment for Ukraine, for its people, for Usyk to have a little bit of peace. Even if they're not going to win the war, just a way to escape from the hell that they're dealing with in their country. Maybe even a morale booster. Maybe even that win is an inspiration. That was a victory for Ukraine in a sense. Like I said, I don't know if they're going to win the war against Russia. I don't know if they're going to, how they're going to deal with this. All we can do is hope that it ends and the conflict stops and there's some sort of peaceful negotiations. But nonetheless, sometimes, believe it or not, sports can have that impact. It can boost the morale of the people of a nation, or simply just be an escape. That's what sports is to a lot of us fans. I'm a competitor, but I'm a fan as well. It's an escape from the harsh realities of life. It's a break. It's inspiration. When you see somebody, come back or work their ass off or do something spectacular in their playing field, whatever that realm may be, football, soccer, basketball, boxing, it's inspiring to you to get your shit together in life or to do better. Whatever the case may be, or maybe it's just a break from reality. Joshua took that away from Usyk. Joshua took that away from Ukraine and spoiled it. And then he takes the man's belts, steals it from his team, raises them up as if he won the belts, and tosses them from the ring. Come on, man. Like, what is that? Like, don't get me wrong. I like that Anthony Joshua showed he cared. But, man, there was different ways you could have went about to show your passion. The man was even crying in the post-fight interview. Say your frustrations. But to do all that extra stuff, that disrespecting the man's flag, disrespecting the man's country, taking away their moment, that was a moment that country needed. Look, I have no idea how many people were actually paying attention to that boxing match in the Ukraine. There's obviously something bigger at stake there. But don't get it twisted. Sports can be very powerful, And I think a lot of people, I saw one of Usyk's team members crying in the corner, because you can tell it probably meant a lot to him and, the country and what was happening. But, Anthony Joshua, it was a bad look for him. One of the things he had is to hold on to was his character. Obviously, the man's going to be rich at the end of the day. The lady's still going to want Anthony Joshua. He's still wealthy. He's still rich. But, man, one of the things that people really respected Anthony Joshua for is his character. Now I'm not going to call the man fake because he had this moment. I'm not going to say he's a garbage dude. Look, we all make mistakes, and this is the more empathetic side of me. We all make mistakes. We all have our moments. We all do dumb stuff. Even the best of us. We all have moments. And there was a lot of pressure on the dude. He had a country behind him. A lot of people were supporting him, betting on him. And then on top of that, you want to prove the haters wrong. The people who are saying you can't do it, who are saying you're not good enough. You want to prove them wrong. On top of that, you want to get your belts back. You want to be great again. And he probably understood those were the reason why he probably stole those belts, because that was probably the last time he was ever going to touch him. Probably the last time. So I get it, man. I'm a sore loser. I'm a sore loser myself. But you didn't have to conduct yourself that way against, especially against an opponent who deserves your respect. You know, now Anthony Joshua, like I said, man, you can always find redemption. If Mike Tyson can make a 360 all around in his life and come back after all the abhorrent things he's done, then certainly Anthony Joshua can come back from this. I'm not saying, once again, I'm not saying he's going to become a champion again, but, you know, he can definitely recover from this and still be a main attraction and still be a likable character. But, you know, he's got to learn what he did and take responsibility and not make excuses. You lost. You know, Usyk was better, point blank, period. Do not fall into the Deontay Wilder path. You know, do not fall into that. But, yeah, it was disappointing, man. It was disappointing and it was embarrassing. He had a Will Smith moment. That's essentially what it was. You know, he couldn't process. He couldn't take it. He was probably tired. He got bopped upside the head. You know, he's emotional. It is what it is. And should have his team been there to mitigate all that? Yes, for sure. You have a huge team, man. That guy has a huge team. There should have been multiple people in place to help him calm down, and which they did to a certain extent. I mean, I don't know who convinced him to come back to the ring, but I would guess it's somebody from his team, you know, or I don't know if he's just obligated by contract to, but nonetheless, he went back. But, you know, he went back and, you know, he went into this crazy rant and he just looked silly. So, look, man, we're human. We're all human. We're all vulnerable. We all do stupid things. You know, we all have terrible moments. And he had one. You know, hopefully he learns. Hopefully he takes responsibility. Hopefully he doesn't make excuses. His team should have been there a little bit more. But at the end of the day, I got to put the bulk of the responsibility on Anthony Joshua's back. Because at the end of the day, he's a 6'4", 240-pound heavyweight. He's pissed off. You know, heavyweight champion, former heavyweight champion. There's not too many people that are going to be able to stop him from doing what he wants to do if he's in that mode where he's seeing red. Okay? You know, like you say what you want about Anthony Joshua. He's still 6'4", 240, former heavyweight championship boxer. Okay, so there's not too many people who are going to, if he makes his mind up that he's going to act a certain way, there's not too many people that are going to be able to prevent him from doing it without a serious altercation on their hands. So at the end of the day, should have Anthony Joshua's team done a little bit more? Yeah. Should somebody have been there? You know, more people in his ear trying to talk him down the ledge? Yes. But once again, at the end of the day, Anthony Joshua should have done better. You know, he should have, you know, taken the L. You know, there was other ways to express your frustration and anger. If anything, just cry, man. Just cry. That's all you had to do. And we all probably would have been a little bit more sympathetic, and we just saw how passionate you were about winning. But, you know, there was different ways to go about showing how much you cared than acting like that, than showing your ass. You know, and look, I'm not into the race thing, but as somebody who's black, okay, you have to understand that people are always looking for a weakness. People are always looking to bring you down. I'm not into this race thing. I'm not into making excuses. I'm not into oppression and all that. But I'm not stupid enough to think that, you know, black men have a short leash. They have a short leash. And they will be criticized and judged on a shorter leash than, say, any other race. So Anthony Joshua did such a good job of exemplifying classy character, but then he has that flaw, and it's okay because we all make mistakes, you know, and that's part of the reason Mike Tyson is one of my favorite fighters, because he's shown, you know, how human he was, but that he was able to flip the situation around and overcome all the bad things in his life. Some of it he asked for it, and some of it he didn't. Some of it wasn't his fault, and some of it was. But nonetheless, he was able to turn his life around and take responsibility and be a better man at the end of the day. And so that's why you got to give people second chances. Anthony Joshua deserves a second chance, but in order to move on from this, he's got to own up to what he did. And he's got to understand, like, as a black man in any society, you know, you're on a shorter leash. People are looking for a reason. That being said, it's your boy Havoc, final round. That was my opinion on the Meltdown. And we are going to get into Fury versus Usyk, undisputed. It's going down. I got a feeling in my gut it will happen. Fury is crazy. He's playing mind games and tricks. I don't understand why he wouldn't take this fight. I do not think he's scared of Usyk. I do think he respects him, but I do not think he's scared as much people are saying he is. You know, it's going to be a great fight. I think a lot of people are going to be shocked at the capabilities of Usyk, but we'll get into that when I make the video. This is your boy Havoc, final round. If you want me to break down any fights, put them down in the comment section below. Give me your opinion. What do you think about the breakdown of AJ? Should his team been there? Do you respect it in the sense that he showed how passionate he was? Do you think it was completely dishonorable? Put it down there. I want to know what you think. Like the video, subscribe, comment down below. Cheers to my subscribers. Cheers to the future ones. Let's keep building this thing. We coming.